Okay, we got some work to do in the trunk here. We got the sides and the back and all that stuff figured out, but let's work on this part right here. We're gonna put this in some fiberglass, so let's get to it. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. Like I said, we're gonna be putting these pieces right here, these orange parts, in fiberglass. I have mentioned a couple times in some other videos about doing carbon fiber or fiberglass. I hadn't really decided yet. I decided to do fiberglass because carbon is expensive and we're still kind of in like the trial phase, so I didn't want to waste the material, buy the expensive stuff and then waste it. So we're going to do fiberglass first, see how this works, see how this goes, and if we want to later on we can do carbon. But I want to make these right now. I'm going to put some more tape on here, make these as structurally sound as I can so it's a good mold, and then go from there and see what we can do with the fiberglass. We may just leave them fiberglass and put carpet over them. That I think is what I want to do. So yeah, we'll just go from there and see where we're at. But first we got to get these things more structurally sound, and we'll get some fiberglass on there, some resin, and see what we got. So let's get to it and see what we can do. For those of you that are just joining and you're like, what are you doing again? The interior trunk carpet and liner for an Evo are incredibly hard to find, and when you do find them, they're wildly expensive. So we're trying to make our own, do a little thing back here to not have a raw trunk in here, even though we just resprayed everything back here and it would look super good with it being raw. We do have some sound deadening material laid throughout the trunk, so I want to kind of cover that up and make things look as OEM as possible, or OEM plus, however you wanted to say it. But what we're doing here is taking aluminum foil, we're making a mold around the strut tower wheel well area, putting some tape on it, aluminum foil, tape, just layering it up, trying to make a mold and as structurally sound of a mold as we can. But even still, I am layers deep on this thing, and it's still kind of flexible. So, and I've used duct tape and everything here. So what I'm thinking about doing is laying down some plastic and kind of covering everything up in here as I can, and we'll brush on the fiberglass mat with it in the car, because I'm worried if I take this out and we go to put the resin and the fiberglass mat on there, while we're brushing it on, it's gonna like move and misshape it, and it might misform everything. So keeping it in the car and brushing it on that way, it's, you know, the structure is there, it can't move it, so it might be a better option. So I am thinking about doing that. We're gonna add some aluminum foil, make this piece as big of a piece as we can, and then we can lay down some plastic and whatnot and take care of that. But I think that's where I'm at now. I gotta add some more tape and aluminum foil, so I'll jump back once we get a little bit farther, but that's what we're doing here. That's the process. I don't know if I'm doing this 100% correct. I'm doing it with what I know and what I think I know about this process, and so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's been like an hour and a half, I don't know, 2 hours. I've been trying to add aluminum foil up around the top here on the back part. It's so hard to get back into here. I'm gonna try to pop this thing out of here and cover up the strut tower part so I don't get any like fiberglass or whatever on that, because that would be a bummer. So I'm gonna try to pull this thing out of here and hope we don't lose the complete shape, because that would be really unfortunate. Sorry if I'm blocking the view. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Perfect. I don't know, maybe this is good enough to, you know what, this might be sturdy enough to do this outside of the, I've got a lot of tape up in this area. This thing looks really, really good outside the car. I just don't know if it's like structurally sound enough to do the fiberglassing on the outside of the car. It's holding its shape, it does, I mean, it's perfectly doing what it's supposed to be doing, but I just don't know if like pushing on it with a brush is gonna hurt anything, you know what I mean? And I don't have any way to like put a backing on that. I'm gonna have to do some pondering here to see, maybe I can do it outside the car. Okay, so I put some more tape on this thing. I put some duct tape in some places and we recovered it with some orange tape. Having it outside the car and seeing it how it held its shape already was pretty promising. So I just wanted to add a little bit more, just to add some more structure to it. It's just gonna be so hard to get a brush back into here, plastic everything off, tape it all off again, and all that stuff. It's gonna be an absolute pain in the ass. So I think we should be good doing it outside the car now. With the structure we have, a little bit of support on the table and all that stuff should help it to be able to withstand it. And so we're gonna give it a whirl. I'm gonna put some more tape on here, a little bit more, and then we should be able to move on to the fiberglass and see where it gets us, but crossing our fingers the whole way. Okay, I got this thing out. It's holding structure pretty well. I think we're gonna be able to do this pretty easily. I was gonna stand it up, but then this part here is a little bit flimsy, so I'm gonna lay it down this way. That way the tops and stuff doesn't like curl over, nothing like that. And so we should be good to go there. We're gonna lay the fiberglass mat on there and we'll brush on the resin, and hopefully this thing works. I don't know if this is gonna work out like I think it's going to or not, but we'll certainly find out either way. But yeah, I've got it sitting on like a can of resin right now just to kind of hold it up. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Probably do 2 layers. I don't think it needs to be like super thick, nothing like that. Just a couple layers of fiberglass mat should be good to go. And yeah. Okay, time to get started on the actual fiberglass part here. We're gonna put some fiberglass resin and some acetone in there to help thin it out a little bit. We got the hardener here. We're gonna look on the back of this thing here at the charts, try to mix this up properly and do the best we can. I'm not 100% sure on how much acetone to put in there, but we'll figure it out. And yeah, we'll start putting the fiberglass mat on here, brushing it on with this here brush, and we'll see how that goes and see how everything works out. Okay, temperature. We're like mid to low 60s right now. It says 18 drops per ounce. We'll do 15 drops per ounce, so 4 ounces, that'd be 60. All right, resin, let's go 4 ounces. Now, I guess we're doing 60 freaking drops of hardener. We'll poke a hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, and 60. Oy. Comes the acetone. We'll do just a little bit of that. And now we will stir this up. Bring this down here. Open up the fiberglass mat and we'll start laying this stuff on there. I'm going to lay a little bit of this on here first, I believe, to like get me started. We're starting to get fiberglass all over us, so that's how you know you're doing a good job, I think. Now I'll just dab this in with the brush. Alright, this is obviously going to take quite a while, so I'm going to jump back once we get a little bit more of this laid down. I started out a little slow because I was trying to not make a huge mess, but once we got going, got a little more comfortable, started putting on some actual resin. We actually had to mix up another batch of resin, but yeah, started laying it on there pretty good after that. All right, we got the first layer completely laid down. Now you can see there that the Sharpie is like kind of bleeding through, but that will at least give me an idea where the lines were and the bolt holes and all that stuff. But we got the first layer all the way down, everything's covered up. We're gonna let this set up for a little bit, and then we'll put the second layer on when it's a little bit tacky. And yeah, 2 layers I think is gonna be good. So we will we'll get that second layer laid down and see where we're at then. That went on pretty easily. Wasn't too big of a mess, I guess. My gloves got a lot of the fiberglass stuck to it and all that stuff after a while, but we had to cut some more pieces and patch some things in. But other than that, not too big of a mess. Okay, back to it. We're gonna put down the second layer and get some more resin mixed up and all that jazz and start brushing it on. It's looking pretty good. There are some little like air bubbles and things in some places, but it's not really like gonna be super necessary to get out all that, I don't think. So yeah, we'll brush on some more resin and get those air bubbles kind of pushed out and get the rest of this fiberglass on there. Boop, 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 boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you first start stirring, it's this thick pink kind of color, and then once you keep stirring, it'll blend in, it'll thin out, and it turns to this like bourbon brown kind of color. I'm gonna try to do things a little bit differently for this second coat. Kind of mix things up a little bit. Go some different patterns, cut it in smaller pieces, things like that. Dab, 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 dab. I was more confident in doing it this time, so I mixed up a lot more resin and just started getting at it, putting it on there pretty thick, and it was already kind of wet and tacky, so I was able to lay the mat on there and it wouldn't move around quite as much. And so we laid some on there, put some more resin, laid some on there, put some more resin, kind of did that along the piece, and that worked out pretty well. I was able to get a lot more ground covered, and I used a lot more resin this time around, so things went a lot smoother. Okie dokie, second coat is on. We got everything cleaned up, just letting it dry now. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. We didn't get very much along the bottom here, but I didn't want to mix up more resin, so we just left that 1 layer on there for the edge. But yeah, everything else turned out pretty well, I do believe. We'll let this thing dry up. We'll pop it off of this thing here, and see what we got. But hopefully, I've seen this done before, and so hopefully I can crack it off of the tape as well. We'll see about that. I don't know how that's going to work. I have seen people pop it off the tape like that, so hopefully this will too. But if not, we have a cool little piece under it, and we'll just take off the aluminum foil and all that stuff from the bottom side. But yeah, now we wait. Well, shiver me timbers. We got our first bit of fiberglass work in a long time is now done. Well, done, has to cure and all that stuff, but the laying it down part is complete. We're letting this thing harden up. I didn't get a video up last week, so I want to get one up on time this week on Friday, and so I'm going to go ahead and end this thing off here. I know you guys probably want to see like a complete project for a change and see it like in the truck and all that stuff, but it's just it's a waiting game right now. Takes time. I'm gonna let this sit for like a day or so, let it get fully hardened, fully cured up, and then hopefully it'll pop off this tape, like I said, with no cracks, no issues, nothing like that. So we'll find out once that time comes. I'm hoping nothing like folded in, got misshapen somehow with the brush and the dabbing and all that stuff, but we'll have to find out once this thing fully dries and hardens and all that stuff and go from there. But if you got this far, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it very much as always. Drop a comment down below, let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.